Good morning, everyone. We are live for the ADEQ session, so I'm going to hand it off to Misael.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Misael Cabrera, and I am privileged to serve as the director of the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. Today, I'll be providing just some updates on what the agency has been doing as it relates to the sovereign nations in our state. And then afterwards, we've set up a lounge so that we can have an open question and answer period. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So ADEQ is actively building partnerships with our partners here in the state. We try to be a model for overall tribal state cooperation, and we believe that mutual cooperation and relationships with tribes are very, very important to our joint mission. And we, on the one hand, respect tribal sovereignty, and on the other hand, we're always here to help in any way that we can. So most of you know EPA or the tribes themselves handle most of the environmental matters in every state, and it's that way in Arizona as well. And so we respect that, but we also share a common goal of protecting and enhancing public health and the environment. We believe that environmental integrity of the entire ecosystem cannot be accomplished in isolation. And we all know that pollution does not respect jurisdictional boundaries. We all share one land, one water, one air. In the state of Arizona, the Department of Interior recognizes 22 tribal governments, and these tribal governments have jurisdiction over approximately 28% of Arizona's land. Of course, the historical interests of tribes in our state covers every inch of our state. And so although there's 28% of the land is governed by tribal governments, the entire state really is of historical interest to the tribes in Arizona. Again, ADEQ recognizes the sovereignty of these tribal governments and their jurisdiction, but we are always available to help. Some of the areas where we have helped recently is in capacity assessment and assistance in training and in assistance with tribal standards. For capacity assessment, ADEQ has assisted some tribes in assessing the technical and operational capacity they would likely need to obtain delegation from EPA and administer certain federal delegable authorities. In Arizona and at the department, we believe that local control is usually best. And so we have assisted tribes in the past on seeking delegation from EPA, and we can offer that help in the future as well. We have in the past and still currently offering training on what we call the Arizona Management System, which is lean training. And what I like to say about lean is that lean is often green and it's never mean. Lean is just a simple way to evaluate processes, identify the waste, pull out the waste, and get a lot more environmental mission outcome accomplished for less time and less resources. I think all of us are strained for resources these days. And so lean is a set of tools and principles and techniques that can help with that. The Gila River Indian community is requested and will be participating in ADEQ office and continuous improvement training classes. And we're very happy to help in that way. We also established a relationship with the Navajo Nation to provide assistance as they are establishing a tribal specific standardization and using ADEQ standards as a basis. And this is for this is for Clean Water Act purposes. And again, we're happy to help in those areas. In our waste programs division, in our underground storage tank program, in coordination with EPA, ADEQ is providing training in the form of job shadowing to tribal UST inspectors. In addition to that, we've helped with air monitoring technical assistance for ozone. ADEQ assisted the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community with their installation of newly required ozone instruments through the sharing of lessons learned, through our installation of the same equipment and providing our current standard operating procedure and troubleshooting standard work for these instruments. In addition, in pursuit of ongoing collaboration and coordination with tribes, ADEQ has implemented new processes to provide notice about new operations and permits to impacted tribes and to facilitate opportunities for consultation so that the tribes are fully equipped to provide feedback on ADEQ permitting actions. In the water quality division, we have put together a GIS-enabled web tool and a tribal-only report, which is emailed to tribal partners every single month. Tribes have communicated to DEQ in the past that they appreciate knowing what is going on near their sacred lands and tribal boundaries. And so the report shows all of the water quality division individual permits. ADEQ offers training on the permits and process every single month as well, if anyone is wanting to take advantage of that. Now I'm going to dig into our waste programs division a little bit more in detail. In fiscal year 21, the state response grant awarded $60,000 to remove asbestos-containing material from a dilapidated building at the Qatar Airport. The cleanup and removal of the building is part of the tribal transportation program, which will expand the use of the Qatar Airport in San Carlos. And this is for the San Carlos Apache tribe. For the White Mountain Apache tribe in fiscal year 22, the US EPA and ADEQ Brownsfield program are working with the White Mountain Apache tribe with assessment and cleanup of the recreational area around the Holly Lake. US EPA Region 9 has applauded ADEQ Brownfield's program for promoting brownfields and doing site-specific work with tribal nations. And it's important to understand that the tribes may apply for funding through ADEQ's Brownfields Assistance Program. Each fiscal year, the Environmental Protection Agency provides funding under a state response grant for Phase 1, Phase 2, environmental site assessments, asbestos and lead-based paint surveys, and asbestos and lead-based paint abatements. And so we are always happy to receive those applications and are happy that we have been able to award some of them. Revitalizing brownfields transforms these properties into something new, from neighborhood parks to commercial or retail spaces. Redeveloping brownfields has the potential to reduce environmental hazards, create new business opportunities, and restore blighted areas to productive use. ADEQ works cooperatively with Arizona tribes to increase EPA funds for environmental activities within the state so that additional funds are available for tribes. In terms of emergency response and the specific emergency response fund, we awarded a $1,200 grant to the White Mountain Apache Fire and Rescue for peroxide test strips, oxidizer test paper, and calibration equipment. For the Wallapai tribe, we issued an $1,800 grant for life-saving equipment, and MSA calibration equipment, and firefighting foam. For the San Carlos Apache tribe, there was a multi-gas detector, firefighting foam, absorbents for hydrocarbon spills, and self-contained breathing apparatus and respirators, totaling $2,600. We've also conducted hazardous material commodity studies on roadways through the Emergency Response Commission. We've conducted these surveys to better understand the type and quantity of hazardous materials transported. This program helps local emergency response managers to plan and train for potential accidents and evaluate impacts to neighboring residences and businesses. Also helps identify training and equipment needs for first responders. In northern Arizona, including highways 260 and 73 near Honda, which is near the White Mountain Apache tribe. We've also conducted a study on major highways that cross through Tohono O'odham and Pasquayaki tribal lands in this fiscal year. Excuse me, I had to turn on my light. My lights turn off after they don't sense activity, and so I had to turn around on that. In terms of recycling, through the recently awarded USDA grant with ASU, ADEQ and ASU will be working with the Navajo Nation, the San Carlos Apache tribe, the White Mountain Apache tribe, and possibly the Hopi tribe. The goal of the USDA grant is to do a feasibility study on hub and spoke recycling in Northeast Arizona. Through the research portion of the grant, ADEQ and ASU will be reaching out to several tribes across Arizona to gather data for the feasibility study. And again, while we very much respect the sovereignty of the tribes, anytime we're asked for assistance, we are very happy to do so. This right here is a picture of an administrative order on consent. This is for the NAMO site, which is located on state land, Arizona state land, but the groundwater contamination from this site has migrated and impacted Salt River, Pima, Maricopa tribal lands. ADEQ worked with both the tribe and the company, Namo Tally, to find a path forward in addressing contamination on tribal land. After years of collaborating with the tribe, ADEQ determined that it didn't have jurisdiction to require the company to clean up the contamination. So what we did is we requested assistance from EPA Region 9, and an enforceable agreement is now in place that addresses all aspects of the investigation and the cleanup work on both state and tribal lands. In terms of air quality, we have produced an enhanced monitoring plan. So we worked collaboratively with tribal communities and other local organizations to develop the Phoenix Ozone Non-Attainment Area Enhanced Monitoring Plan, which is an EPA requirement. This plan serves as a guidepost to address knowledge and monitoring gaps in understanding ozone formation and its sources. We've also put together additional air quality monitoring and smoke forecasts for the G22 wildfire. ADEQ provided air quality monitoring in April of 2021. And we provided air quality information to the White Mountain Apache Indian tribe. ADEQ deployed 2 air quality monitors in Sibique, Arizona, so that the public could be informed as to the impacts of the wildfires. For the Mescal and Telegraph wildfires that we had here in Arizona, ADEQ provided wildfire smoke forecasts to Peridot, CBQ, and San Carlos from June 6th to June 21st, 2021. These forecasts provided detailed smoke impact information to the San Carlos Apache and White Mountain Apache Indian tribe communities during the fires. In our water quality division, we have formalized tribal information and listening sessions pre-pandemic and have kept that spirit intact virtually. ADEQ approved the first standards for tribal listening and information sessions. Approved by the Governor's Office on Tribal Relations. The standards include early recognition of tribal concerns in the formulation of new programs through informative electronic outreach and periodic in-person regional sessions. Improved relationships and open communications have broken down some of the barriers, and we hope to continue improving on that work. Prior to the pandemic, we had seen an increase in the number of tribal members participating in tribal information sessions and stakeholder meetings, and we hope that that progress renews. A number of years ago, when we did our screening for lead in drinking water in public schools, we included schools on tribal land that were under the jurisdiction of the School Facilities Board. ADEQ assessed schools in order to test to see if the water that was being served in these public schools was meeting the lead action level of 15 micrograms per liter that's been designated by the EPA. We have much more information on that on our website, and all of the data that we collected is also available on our website, and that is on ADEQ www.azdq.gov. And in fact, there's specific links to these reports, and I'm going to ask Len Drago, who's our tribal liaison, who's also participating in this presentation, to put those in the chat if he could. So ADEQ is committed to continuing cooperative relationships with the tribes. We absolutely believe that together we can accomplish more for the environment, irrespective of what jurisdiction we're working on, and we are always very much interested in helping. I also wanted to point that we have a tribal liaison. The gentleman's name is Len Drago. Here is his contact information. Len is our point of contact for any communications. He is not meant to be a stovepipe. Tribes can contact any of us at DEQ at any time, but Len has specific responsibilities in his role as a tribal liaison. And Len just put in the chat some of the links, and let's see, it doesn't seem like they're linkable, or even let me try to get those links in the chat myself. Hang on just a second. I am going to go.
Hey, Misael, I can take care of it.
Do you have them?
I can enlarge it and I can copy and paste.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. I don't see any questions in the chat, but we have recently set up a lounge. So what I'd like to do is in just a few minutes, we will stop here, and what we can do is go over to the lounge, and when we do that, we can have an open Q&A. Let me see if I can get those links for you.
Yeah, I'm having trouble too.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. So we have a few links. So Control C, and I will try. So Control. Did that work? No. Okay, so there's one of them. This is a link to our ADEQ Tribal Relations Annual Report. And let me that next link is the link to a map of the schools that we screened all across the state, including some schools which are under the jurisdiction of the State School Facilities Board. And then we have, lastly, our overall report for lead in schools. Control C. Let's get there. And I think I believe that those links are a little bigger and a little bit more legible. So thank you all for participating in this presentation. We will now go over to the lounge. The lounge is called ADEQ Q&A, and we'll open it up to any questions that folks might have for us. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see many of you in the lounge.
Thanks, Misael. We'll see you there.